Well, really screwed that up. What is up, Cinco Nation? Welcome to Flicks Feed. I am Warren Cinco. Anyway, that was something that Merlin was doing earlier, this little thing, and it's pretty impractical, and I'll explain that in a little bit in my negatives. But I just got back to watching The Kid Who Would Be King, which is a new take in the King Arthur legend that we all seen before. The only difference is it's with kids. And to be honest with you guys, I'm actually kind of hesitant to watch this movie and to review it because I'm not really into family/kids type movies like this. Nevertheless, there are really good ones out there, like this one right here. And this one right here. But I do like the King Arthur story, even though it has been played many times before. Nevertheless, I just wanted to be able to expand my movie repertoire and, more importantly, be able to do this review so that you guys can decide if you want to watch it with your kids or not. So without further ado, let's get on with the review. So The Kid Who Would Be King, like I said earlier, is another retelling of the King Arthur legend. And instead of Arthur, we got Alex, who is just this sweet, loving kid. And along the way, he meets Merlin and recruits his friends and even bullies to become knights, which they embark in this epic journey where they have to save their country and the world from the evil Morgana. And that's pretty much it. End scene. Done. No, but in the end of the day, I thought the movie was kind of fun. It's okay. Definitely, kids-centric, which might as well lead us to the negatives of the movie. It's still a King Arthur type movie. And there have been really good ones in the past and many bad ones. But at the same time, there's something about it that I guess resonates with people. So this is probably why it's been told so many times. In addition to that, speaking of Morgana earlier, so she's supposed to be this really powerful witch, evil, magical witch, or whatever you want to call it. And in all honesty, after watching the movie, I just think she's just underwhelming as far as powers. She can read thoughts through branches, and then she does this little dance thing, kind of like Suicide Squad's Enchantress. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. He's in the end of the day, she's not really that powerful. She has this kick-ass army though, fire zombies riding on horses, and they're all like bones, but they have fire inside, and their swords are filled with fire, and there's pretty good design. But nevertheless, Morgana herself wasn't that powerful to me. And even Merlin, speaking of which, earlier I was doing that little thing. He was doing this all the time whenever he wants to cast a spell, like voguing. And it's kind of distracting and also unrealistic because, granted that we're talking about Merlin, your magician, it's not real. However, it's not practical how he's emitting his magic. Why don't you just go like that, or like Hotoken? Which actually kind of reminds me of one of the scenes from Big Trouble in Little China with one of the cool magician hat people in this scene right here. But yeah, it kind of is pointless because he could have gotten hit already while he's doing his little thing. And every time he does it, I was like, okay. So it's kind of underwhelming. So both magicians in this movie were underwhelming. I don't know if that's on purpose, but I was kind of disappointed with that. Patrick Stewart, though, was great as always. But even his parts, he wasn't there much, probably like 2 or 3 scenes. And then he has like this raspy voice, and I know he's old already, but not sure if that's on purpose too, because I think I've heard him talk not too long ago, and he didn't sound anything like he did in this movie, which is again pretty old. So it's also like, not that it matters, but it's just like kind of distracting a little bit. So maybe they're making him look older than he is, or sound older than he really is, but I don't think he is. Another thing that bugged me in this movie is how the sword was first introduced, Excalibur. Even though I've never seen the full trailers or any of it, I saw some snippets of it, and this is in the trailer, but the sword itself is inside a concrete column in what looked like a construction zone, a demoed area, and it's just sitting there for the kid to find, for Alex to find. And I'm like, there's obviously a time when people were working in that area, and here's a sword just sticking out in a concrete column. And I know this is a kids movie, so nothing's supposed to make sense, but the most successful kids movies out there, the most successful family movies, are usually one where there's not only a good story, but there's also a little bit of complexity and something that both the kids and adults can enjoy. And I think that's one of the biggest flaw, if not the biggest flaw, is the fact that this movie really, after watching it, I just don't know if there's really anything that's kid-centric, aside from the characters being mostly kids. So with that said, I don't know if kids will even enjoy this. I know it'll be a lot of fun for some adults. Action is pretty good, and some of the design for the monsters are also pretty good, although the CGI is crap. But in the end of the day, I don't think kids are gonna like this movie. Might even find it boring. There's just a lot of complexities in the story and what they're talking about, and even the creatures themselves might be a little scary for them. So I don't even think they'll enjoy it. Having said that, there are some positives to the movie, and that's mainly the underlying theme. But with all family movies, there's always some kind of positive message they're trying to communicate to the masses and to the kids especially, and they are loyalty and teamwork. Some of the acting was pretty good. I like some of the arcs in the movie, especially with this little brat right here. He acted pretty good, and to the point where I wanted to slap his face. That's how annoyed I was with him. So when an actor is able to get me to feel that way about their character, and it's probably meant to be, then he did a good job, so bravo. The main star who played Alex, he wasn't bad either. He had this innocence about him, which I guess is just perfect for the role. And he showed some true leadership in the movie, which is something I think that the filmmakers were trying to do. And the other actors were pretty good as well. Like I said earlier, Patrick Stewart was pretty good in the movie, although only just 2 or 3 scenes of him. And there's some pretty good action scenes. Nevertheless though, even as a family movie, even as a kids movie, I really wish they've done more to the story, done more to the characters, and definitely beef up the special effects in this movie and gave Patrick Stewart's Merlin and this whoever played Morgana more to do and more powers. So with that said, after watching this movie, feels like I got bitch slapped.
Well, Amanda's in there.
The magicians were underwhelming, the witch was underwhelming. They need to work on the CGI a little bit more. There are some scenes in this movie that I just don't understand, and as a result I can't suspend my disbelief about them. How they revealed the sword was kind of stupid, doesn't make sense to me. And the story has been told many times, even with the twist that it's about the kids this time around, it's still a King Arthur story. So there you guys have it, my review of The Kid Who Would Be King. Have you guys seen it? Are you guys excited about it? Do you like the King Arthur story? And does it matter to you if it's about kids this time around, or if they have another movie about King Arthur? Whatever it is, go ahead and comment below. I would love to know what you think. Just be careful with spoilers. And as always, if you like this review, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe subscribe. And until next time, you guys, you can click right here
and get simplified.